Make sure you smash the notification bell and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Well. We've been here before. What was it? Less than a week ago, I was talking about 5 days ago, I was talking to you about this same situation. Slightly delayed here on my channel. I don't know why it's delaying again, but anyway. So I was talking to you about this situation, about Sky Sports presenter David Jones, while Gary Neville, the pundit, former Man United defender and now turned pundit, was talking and responding to an incident that happened with Rudiger, the Chelsea player, Tottenham, playing against versus Tottenham, and Neville was speaking out about it, and I think Neville went slightly off course or off the script. Wasn't the usual sort of thing that happens on Sky Sports, and our friend Dave Jones jumped in. So let's read into this and see exactly what happened. Now, when it first happened and I looked at the video, I was like, that ain't right. You mean Sky Sports? So let's see what exactly happened, as opposed to or how it's been spun. So Sky Sports, this is from the Independent newspaper, by the way, if you're wondering. Sky Sports presenter David Jones has apologised unreservedly for intervening during Gary Neville's passionate anti-racism speech to stress that his views are not those of the broadcaster. Neville delivered a second strong condemnation of the growing issue of racism in football on Sunday afternoon after Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger was allegedly racially abused by an apparent Tottenham fan during the London derby. The incident followed a similar one 2 weeks ago in the Manchester derby, when United players Fred and Jesse Lingard appeared to be subject to monkey taunts in the 2-1 win at City, with a number of United players subsequently reporting racist abuse after the match. Former United and England defender Neville claimed that English football needs to realise that it has a big problem on its hands in how it has allowed racism to return to the game, with another high-profile incident involving Raheem Sterling last season at Stamford Bridge. And the Sky Sports pundit once again referenced how the current political landscape in Britain is having an impact on the Premier League. But at the end of his argument, Jones, appearing to receive information in his ear from a producer, interjected to stress that Neville was expressing his own opinion. I'm compelled to say that those are not the opinions of those are the opinions of Gary Neville and not of Sky Sports. That is my duty, Jones said, to which Neville asked him if he agreed or not. Whether I do or I don't is irrelevant. I'm here to try and hold a balanced debate. That's what Jones said out of his own mouth. That was his response. Neville fumed at the response, responding that his argument was balanced, given it was based on actual evidence of the racist language that has been used by Prime Minister Boris Johnson, whose comments of piccaninnies and letterboxes in the past have gone unpunished, while Labour's recent electoral campaign was plagued by constant allegations of anti-Semitism. Jones and Sky has received a strong backlash on social media as the video of the argument was shared hundreds and thousands of times in a matter of hours, with a number of prominent users speaking out about how the reluctance from the broadcaster to stand against racism only helps to fuel it. Jones later posted an apology on Twitter, well, I believe he was forced to, admitting that he was so very disappointed in himself for appearing to shut down a view against racism. Well, let's hear what Jones had to say. David Jones. Let's hear what he's got to say on the matter. Let's double check and see you're with us. This is what Jones had to say, the Sky Sports presenter who interjected on Gary Neville. I'm so sorry to have spoiled what was such an important discussion on racism tonight, Jones posted on Twitter. I had to intervene when Gary suggested that the two main political parties were to blame. I didn't make that clear enough. For that, I apologise unreservedly. I would never purposely shut down a discussion on racism. I've worked for Sky for over 20 years and know they share my view that racism of any kind should not be tolerated. This is not a debate, and that's why I'm very disappointed and sorry tonight. Sky Sports also posted a statement on Twitter, though notably did not issue an apology for the stance that was taken during the broadcast. The statement said, Sky Sports is against racism of all sorts in any walks of life and will continue to give a platform to eradicating this vile behaviour from society. So there you have it. Sky Sports, saying it was the views of Gary Neville. They want balanced views. David Jones saying unreservedly he apologises. And that's it. Well, it's time for you to decide what you think of the situation. Me personally, it's typical PR crap from Sky. Typical PR stuff. Where was the apology to Gary Neville? Where was the apology to Gary Neville? Let's see. I'm sure Gary Neville actually had something to say about this as well. Let me see. I'm sure he made a statement about it. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see if I can find it. I know he said something. Let's see if I can find it. See if I can get here. Here we go here. I think there's an article here on it. Well, the thing is now, for me, it's going to be important to see how Gary Neville is treated by Sky moving forward. And whether his passionate speech about anti-racism and facing facts and speaking facts is going to get him losing his contract or renewing his contract, and what punishment Gary Neville will face for that. We'll see if what Sky Sports really feel. Be interesting to know what the conversation was with Gary Neville, Dave Jones, and the Sky Sports producer, and whoever it was at the back room that said that, and why they were forced to say that. I wonder the political ties between Sky Sports and Labour or Conservative Boris Johnson. Very interesting. Remember, Rupert Murdoch obviously owns Sky, doesn't he? So that would be very interesting to see how all those dynamics work. Having one of their own, not towing the line, speaking some reality, and making Sky Sports viewers a little bit more queued up into believing, rather than believing it's just a football issue, that it actually is a society issue, and that England is, UK is far more racist than would be led to believe, or according to Gary Neville. But the political climate is such, with the current Prime Minister in the UK being allowed to get away with what he's been getting away with, calling calling black people pickaninnies and looking at Muslim women who are tied up or wrapped up with calling them letterboxes. That's the sort of thing that and it really and it's not getting checked. And then you've got Trump in America. Is this society today? Is this what it is today, where people are allowed to speak how they feel, what they say? Is this the way forward? Are we just going back to what it did, the good old days? Is this what it's about? So we'll see how this, because this will revisit Sky again for sure. How their commentators or their pundits respond to further anti-racism situations will be interesting. If we have any more situations, so I'm sure there will be other matches, any more derbies. It'll be interesting to see how the pundits respond and how Sky handle this situation. It's a very interesting one. Sky was mad that Dave Jones made sure it looked like Sky made him make the statement and made him apologise. There's a point there, Danny. Got to say it there. Not sure how I feel about this. The apology should be coming from Sky. Instead, they're scapegoating presenter and shirking responsibility. Like they always do. Like all these big corporations usually do. They spin it. But when it starts to hit Sky in the pockets, that's the thing. When Sky starts to get hit in the pockets about it, that's when they will change their stance. There's two ways you can deal with people in this. People like this. You hit them in the pockets. You hit them by their law. And you hit them by their pockets. That's what it is. And so, you know, very interesting. Very, very interesting. And we know there's Amazon and other places now where you can watch soccer, and that's a big thing for Sky. Sky better put themselves to get themselves together and get it sorted, because if they don't, this could end up backfiring in Sky's face. See, people can vote with their pockets, and they can say, you know what, I'm boycotting Sky. I'm going elsewhere. I'm going to Amazon. You know, a lot of people of colour will be definitely offended by how Sky dealt with that situation. Very offended. Me personally, I'm no longer offended, because I don't have expectations anymore of people are the way that they are. I don't have no expectations one way or the other, particularly with people like this. This is to be expected of them. So why am I going to be offended by it? Why am I going to be offended? Oh, I've worked in Sky for 20 years and I've never seen any racism. Even if you did see any racism, you wouldn't have the balls to say anything about it anyway, because you're under contract. So you won't say anything about it. So because you say that you didn't see any racism, I don't know what your stance is. I don't know where you're coming from. You know, I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know where you're coming from. I don't know what your stance is behind closed doors. I don't know what your stance is behind closed doors, Dave Jones. So, you know, Dave Jones probably thought it was best to make it out that Sky forced him, as they did, but Sky forced him alone to apologise. Yeah, that's it. You know, Sky forced him to apologise. Now I would like to see, you know what, he could have gone out after, but you know what? If he had gone out and said, you know, I want to apologise, it could have made Sky look bad. So I guess, you know, think about this for a lot less. You remember Richard Keys and the other guy, Andy Gray? They got sacked for a lot less. So, you know, the tensions are rising. I don't know how Sky are going to handle this moving forward, but they better handle it right. You know, because they're going to lose money this way. You know, you have over in the world of boxing, you have Barry Hearn talking about slave master contracts openly on Sky. I think Sky never shut that down. They allowed Barry Hearn to talk that stuff out, and allowed that to be on the screen, talking about slave masters and slave master contracts. Well, what are they going to do? Of course, dude's worked his way up from having a decent presenter job. Sky hold his career over him. Of course they do. So he's a slave to a contract. That's what happens. So you don't have your own mind. You don't have your thoughts. You all do as you're told. You will say as your... That's why people say to me, oh, would you love to work for Sky? No. Why would I want to do that? Why would I want to enslave myself to this garbage? To follow the views of what these people are and how they are. Even if Dave Jones did see racism over the 20 years, there's nothing you could have said about it. There's nothing you could have done about it. Because he's a slave to the Sky Sports system. All right? That's what it is. That's what it is. So, unless Sky do something dramatically to deal with this situation, or what can they do? Well, you know, this situation will revisit them again for sure. It will definitely revisit them. What are your thoughts? What do you think about the way David Jones has responded? Do you feel he was forced? And how do you think about Sky and how they've handled it? How do you feel Sky should have handled this matter? The producer that whispered it in the air, who was the producer? What were the views of the producer? And more to the point, who whispered in the producer's ear to say that? That would be interesting. So, by the way, what are Sky's views? I know you've just put that something down on a piece of paper, copy and paste and stuck it out there. But what are Sky's views? Let me hear from the head honcho of Sky what your views are on it. Adam Smith, back in boxing. What did you think of Barry Hearn's version talking about slave and slave masters? Huh? What about that? Something to think about. Anyway, enough of that. Congratulations, Gary Neville, for speaking out and speaking your truth. And as for this guy here, he's just another sheep. Just another one. Just got bills to pay. Hasn't got a mind of his own. Of course, I don't know what he feels truthfully deep down. We'll never know that until I guess he gets fired by Sky or he leaves Sky. As for Gary Neville, we'll see how he gets treated moving forward. We'll know what Sky's real thoughts are on the matter of racism, and Gary Neville speaking out. We'll know what they really think in the coming months with Gary Neville, whether his contract gets renewed or his tone changes when he does punditry. We shall see. Thanks for watching.